far side or near side. Near side is harder to deal with, okay? So I'm gonna show you how to do it from far side first, okay? Which is common, but also how to address if they're doing it like the harder version, which is essentially, it's all the same stuff, but it's a key thing that you need to pay attention to. So whenever I'm in side control, the first thing that I should be doing, right, if I realize that a person's passing my guard, or like, oh man, they're gonna come to side control, I don't wait for them to get the side control and then they get their beautiful position and then try to get my frames in, because at this time it's too late, right? He's already gonna be tight. He's gonna have his leg underneath my arm. And now it's gonna be really hard for me to get my frames. My arms are gonna be out here, okay? So that means by default, someone's passing my guard, my frame should already be there, right? Someone's passing my guard, I'm trying to prevent, and I realize it's to a certain point where I can't do anything anymore, like I'm already prepared with my arms. I mean, my frame should have been there from the beginning anyways, because that's how I'm going to be retaining my guard. But he did better than me, now we're here. So making sure that when I have this first frame in here, I turn it on. Here's good. I don't want to have my arm all the way in like this, where my wrist is connected to his hip, because this is very weak, right? If you were to drop his hip right now, see how very easily that arm goes and collapses to my shoulder. Same thing, I don't want to put my palm on his hip either, because this is a really good way to get wrist locked, right? White belts don't have to worry about this, but blue belt and up do. And you just don't want to get used to this, because now you're just using the wrong thing. And again, if he drops it enough, he's going to collapse.
I can't do that without you.
I need to make sure I'm focusing more of my frame on my forearm, on the bias of my elbow. Not completely my elbow, but more on that bias. So if I were to divide my arm into like thirds, it'd be on the last third right here, or at 2/3 right about here, okay? Here. And notice how I have like this kind of karate chop, and it seems kind of funny, but I want this because I don't want to get used to trying to grab anything, which will now make the position weak. I want to make it like I'm karate chopping his hip, and I'm kind of pointing out. So if he were to try to sprawl or move about, I can actually follow him. If he tries coming towards my head, I can actually follow him, okay? And I can go back. Other detail here with the frame here, same thing, like I don't want to have my hand doing anything here, because if I do, he drops his shoulder, I'm weak, I can't push, right? Also, I'm not strong enough to bench press anybody off of me. So I don't want to rely on strength that I don't have. And even if you are strong enough to bench press somebody, don't rely on that strength, because at some point in time or another, it's going to fail you, right? So you want to have good technique, which means that it doesn't matter how strong or not strong you are, you're going to still be able to do this technique. So focusing the frame here. I can cup, but again, don't focus on grabbing anything, just kind of cupping. And I want to apply a little bit of pressure. He already will not be able to keep putting pressure onto me. In order to keep his weight, he's going to have to turn his head the other way there to alleviate pressure, which actually helps me, okay? So make sure I have these frames. And notice how I kept my knee up the entire time. I want to make sure that's the knee on that one. Now, if I try to bridge and frame from him right now, I don't have any room. My leg is going to go right into his hip, okay? So I want to make some room for my leg to enter and turn a little bit just like this, okay? So from here, I'm going to make sure that I walk my legs away from him just a little bit. So now there's some space between me and him. Essentially, I'm making space for my legs to go. I bring my legs to the side. Now I can bridge into him. I don't need to push him away or anything. I'm just bringing my weight onto my shoulders and into him. My hips are up off the ground now. From here is kind of tricky. I don't want to drop my hips and then try to bring my knee in, because now I don't have the space anymore. I bridge, and as my hips are coming down, now I bring my knee in. And I have to use the other foot to help push myself in, or bring myself in. Turn. When I do this, I'm going to go back. Notice how my knee is on the other side. This is what I'm aiming for. Even if it's a little shallow, I should be trying to use the other foot to push myself in so I can get my knee to the other side, because now this is bracing his hip here, right? If it's too shallow like this, he's just going to step right over and he's going to pass again. So when I bring my leg to the side, I bridge, I pull myself in. Look how I'm trying to bring my knee to the other side of the hip, and it's above my arm here. Again, I just want to double up on this frame here so he can't step over. Okay. Now, with the leg on the other side, I can grab his leg if I so desire. I can also just put it on top of him. Okay. But I'm going to grab this foot because it's gonna be what's best for me to do. So let's turn. There's a lot of steps here. Walk the legs. I bridge. As my hip is coming down, I move myself in. Okay. Now, two things to keep in mind. I want to be able to grab this foot here. I don't need to shut it out. I just need to make sure he can't follow me. Oh, but Christina, what if I can't get it because he's hiding his foot? If he's hiding his foot, that means his weight isn't on me. Okay? Because by pushing him away, he's going to be driving into me. He's driving into me, that means his foot's going to be exposed. Okay? If I can't find it, I just want to move it more. Try this one as much as I can. There it is. Okay? Now again, I'm going to stretch it. Now I can just hug the arm, rotate. Now I can tie it. Put it all together. Frames already here. I'm going to bring my feet away. Good. Insert. Line. Look how I hook. Because my knee's on the other side, I can hug the arms. So now he can't push my arm through. If I don't do this, he's going to push my knee through. He's going to pass again. Okay? I trap that. I lean to the other side so I can clear the leg. If I have a hard time, I can just push him away a little bit. You know, close guard. And in. Shoulder angle. This is going to be your most basic one. Now, how to address if they keep the arm on the near side is, right? If I can, near side. This is the far side, right? You're going to do the same exact thing. The thing is, if it's on the near side, I can't get my knee and he's blocking it. Thing is, though, is he also can't keep his arm here. At some point or another, he needs to progress his position. And when he progresses his position, he's going to move his arm. Yeah. So we have to wait. If they're doing a really good job of blocking your hip on the near side, which is going to make it very hard for you to bridge and bring the leg in because the arm is blocking the leg, you're going to have to wait for them to move that arm, which they have to do. They're either going to move that arm to control a leg, control a hip, control an arm. So the moment that they move their arm because they need to progress, that is also the opening that you have in order to escape. So again, this is something that you're only going to feel if you actually take the time to recognize it. So yes, there is urgency when you're in side control to get out, but there should also be a little bit of a calm. Calm meaning it's like it's a time for you to kind of just reset, like, oh man, I messed up, passed my guard, but now's not the time to freak out because they're in a really good position. So if you struggle like needlessly, like you're just pushing and sprawling and hipping up for like just to do it without actually having a real exit plan, you're actually making it easier for the other person to submit you or progress to the next position. So yes, there's urgency, but there should also be some cool-headed calmness going on. Like, okay, deep breath. What's going on? Where's the pressure? Where are they blocking? Okay, now we can assess. It's kind of like when you hear a fire alarm. The first thing you don't do is you don't just run up and just run like, oh my God, madness. No, if you hear a fire alarm, the first thing you remember to do is like, okay, I have to make sure that everything's out of the way. You know, tuck everything in, single file line. Where are the exits? That I remember that we practice going through this, right? Whenever we do a fire drill, remember you were a kid, right? They practice showing you where the exits are and how to exit safely and where to line up. This is the same thing when you're in side control. You don't just go crazy and then run wherever you want to go. You actually have to try and follow that thing. Sorry.
So guys, basically with side control, what Professor Christina is trying to say is, you gotta accept it. At some point, you really just gotta, if they already passed, it is not the time to fight anymore like crazy. And you like fish out of water. Don't do that. You are spending energy for nothing. If somebody already passed and they have side control, it's your time to breathe. Now you take your time, make your frames. They will have to move too. They can't, nobody can stay on side control forever. They have to move the same way that you have to move. For example, with the far side, you have to wait until they move so that you can bring your knee in. From the other side, where they protecting your hips, what you gotta do sometimes is just wait also. If you just, the moment they get to side control, you start trying to push them away, you are spending a lot of energy. Especially if you're small, you know, especially if you're small and you're against the biggest guy in the room and they have this one. So you have to definitely be the most calm possible you can.
And Eric mentioned this with the last breakdown that we did, which is kind of same thing here. Is very often, it's the most common mistake I see with a lot of my fellows when they first start training and they're working on their escapes is they don't do anything to defend the actual pass.
Yeah.
And then once they've passed, the person has stabilized this really good dominant position, that's when they start fighting. It's the opposite, right? Think of it like a cold, easier to prevent, but once you're sick, it sucks getting back to being healthy again, right? You have to go through the process and you're already sick. But if you prevent it from the beginning, right, take proper precautions, then it's a lot easier, right? So don't let it happen. The time that you should be spending the most amount of energy is to retain or maintain or prevent the position altogether, not getting out, okay? Because once you're there, then that's gonna be the hardest thing. All right, the second one, or any questions on that one at all, actually, before I move on to the second variation, which is gonna be more of like a self-defense thing, but you can also use in regular jiu-jitsu class. Questions, takers? Definitely don't get frustrated with the side control escape. It's escapes or recoveries from dominant positions are not meant to be easy. So you will struggle with it at the beginning, especially because when you're drilling it at home, it's not realistic. Meaning the person's just kind of pinning you, and depending on who your partner is, if they know how to react properly or not, is how good your escape is essentially going to be, or your recovery is going to be. So don't get frustrated, give it a try, and you can even make it to the point of that do get to try it and spar. Eventually when you get back to training, make it a point so that you really want to practice your escapes, right? You put a lot of focus on the offense, but really practicing your defense and forcing yourself to do it. Like even set a scenario for the other person. This is what you're trying to do. This is your objective. And try and keep me so I can try and escape, right? So the confidence with escapes and recoveries are going to come along the more that you do it. Okay, so we're going to work on the kesagatame. Kesagatame is like a judo pin or scarf hold, and I won't say it's not common in jiu-jitsu, but it will happen. So what this looks like is here. He's going to, he's here hugging my head and hugging my arm here, okay? So this is a bad position, right? As far as I don't really have much going on for him. He already has my arm here, okay? He's trying to check out, sorry, I'm not interested, I have a boyfriend.
Okay, cool. I was checking.
Right. So this is not good. Although, keep in mind, the reason why this is also not so good for him, for control on top, for jiu-jitsu, is that if I get my head out, I have his back.
I love it.
So try, like, this is really, you'll see this more like white belt stuff, like where they're like just hugging the head here. Yeah. But keep in mind that if I get my head out from here, I can easily get to his back. So most likely if you're doing this type of side control, he'd be here, not hugging my head. But we're gonna do it from the head because self-defense, and and this still does happen. Okay, let's put that a little bit to the, okay. So first things first is I need to make sure that he doesn't get this. So I want to try and hide my arm as much as I can, and I need to make sure that he cannot get his head too close to me because now he's gonna be able to hug me and drop his pressure on me. So I'm gonna make frames right here, his open hand, and I'm gonna push his face away. Just this. This is all I'm gonna do, okay? And to get out, I'm gonna swing my legs, but I can't swing this way because look how my body is blocking his leg here, or my legs are blocking his body, okay? He doesn't have anywhere for his body to go. So I bring my legs up, and I bring my legs to the side actually. I don't know if you noticed that. I brought my legs to the side. So I'm not going straight forward, but I'm going to the side. And literally I just come up this way. It is that easy, okay? If I'm having a hard time, right, I'm here, I'm having a hard time with just my legs, if you are able to, you can also use your legs to help you up a little bit, okay? Turn. Sometimes he'll still be hugging onto my head with both arms, which is fine. I can still use this frame to push him away, turn into him, lean, and I can break the grip. And as you can see, I have a really great option to now attack the arm, okay? So
Punch them in the face.
Punch them in the face. This is something that we do show in self-defense. This is a really good one to do because you just practice rocking yourself, okay? So remember, I can't just go straight this way. I kind of have to bring my legs out to the side so I can come up. Here. He could even have both his hands holding onto my head like this. Yeah. This is, again, more like self-defense stuff, right?
Yeah, people in this room do stupid things.
People in this room will do this. Like, oh, yeah, headlock. Push him away. Again, I can't go straight this way because my legs are in the way. I have to swing my legs out of the way. And I can come up. Make the face, lean, make the grips. I can move them out or punch him in the face. Okay? And one more, very similar. If he tries to punch me in the face, which is so bad, I don't want him doing that. Okay? Yeah. So if he tries to punch me in the face, yeah, look. It's very easy for me actually to grab here. So all I need to do is.
Wait, let's start again.
No.
Give me 2 seconds.
Stop it. Okay? So it's being able to cup and pull. If I can, turn a little bit. I can either grab this way, I can grab this way, just for as long as I can keep, this, okay? Now, I can't do the same one because his head's low. Okay, so what we're gonna do. This is a lot fatter. This is essentially what you're doing is this, without a person there. I am bringing my legs back, I bridge, I bring my legs in, and then doing a forward hip escape. Bridge, I bring myself in, and I load them. Like that.
Sorry.
Here, right away. I have to find his arm and I have to hug and keep it tight to me, okay? Now, again, I can't do this right now because he's gonna keep his head low. I can't swing him, even if I wanted to. What I can do is, I'm gonna bring my legs far away, I'm gonna bridge into him and mix him light. Because I bridge into him, now I can bring myself underneath him. Now that I brought myself underneath, look how I can swing. Like a baby. I bridge, myself in, hips up, and same thing.
I give up. I give up. Call the cops.
I have a question.
All the cops are you.
Give the skibbity paps.
The cops are not like that.
Yeah, question.
So what if your opponent is like really strong in their arms, or like, how is it possible to not really hold their arm like that if they're really strong? Like my boyfriend, I'm just thinking like he could easily just get rid of that.
You have to wait. You have to wait for this. There's some point where you just need to cup it, and it's not necessarily about holding it. It's about pinning it. So we're aiming for right about where the elbow is. This is where they're going to be structurally weak. If you aim too high, we'll be able to lift the elbow. But if you collapse the elbow, you're going to have a hard. They're going to have a harder time. This is just kind of like how body mechanics work here. This is the part that's strong. If I anchor by the elbow, it's really hard for me to lift anymore because I can't use that muscle anymore. But if it's a little bit higher, I can completely use all these muscles here. So you really need to aim for the bend of the elbow. And again, it takes confidence to try it out. So start off with different levels of resistance from him. Okay, start off with the first one without any of the hitting or the skippy pads, and then work yourself up. But the second one definitely is the harder one to do because it requires a lot of like body awareness, and you have to know the body mechanics. You have to know how to do your bridges properly, and you have to know how to enter your body, yourself underneath the person to make them light. This is like the ultimate of what jiu-jitsu was designed to be. If you think about like from like the origins of it, like it was meant for the smaller person to be able to defend themselves. So you can effectively, I guarantee you're gonna start feeling a lot more confident with all the other stuff that you're gonna be learning in jiu-jitsu, like especially since it's like, again, it's so self-defense based.
Jokes aside, and making a joke, I'm a very firm believer. Like, oh no, they can just punch you. You're weak. No, it does work.
Yeah.
Like it feels like I'm not trying to punch her. I really am trying to punch her because this is the time I can do it. But she's stopping it. I would really punch her. I really am trying to do it. Please erase that from the tape.
Thank you.
Any other questions about anything? I know I kind of reviewed a lot of stuff. There's a lot of details, but they all piggyback on the same concepts of, one, you need to make space for your hips to go and your legs to go. If you're too close, they're smothering, you need to make space because they're not going to give it to you. Once you've created the space, you need to take advantage of it right away. If you make this space and then you don't do anything with it, or you reset to the beginning, that's going to get closed off. So again, that's one of the reasons why escapes are so difficult and why they are so frustrating. It's very easy to feel defeated because we're already starting from a bad position, and the other person's objective really is just to keep us there. So don't get frustrated, don't get defeated, don't give up. It's not meant to be easy. I can tell you right from the beginning, as a white belt, I had such a hard time with escapes. I felt like everybody was smashing me, and because of that, that's the reason why my retention got really, really good, right? I was really good. I was like, man, I cannot let anybody pass my guard. I can't let them mount me. I can't let them hit the side control, otherwise I'm screwed. I don't have a chance. So like I got really good at like frames and keeping them away with my legs. But I also made sure to at least pick up the escapes that worked best for my body type and for me, because not everything that you're going to learn is going to work right away for you. I mean, there's stuff that works for me now. Yeah, like it works for me now because I understand it as a black belt, but when I was a white belt, it didn't work. Or there are basic passes or basic techniques.
When you always say it, it's like a Lego.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Back to where, he likes my story time. It's like a Lego piece, okay? I'm giving you concepts. I'm giving you something to build your own creation, build your own set, right? When I give you a Lego piece, I'm not expecting you to build the same exact set that I taught you. I'm hoping that you'll just take that Lego piece and build something that's unique to you, that works for you. It's good to know everything that you can. Keep it in your tool belt, keep it in your box for whenever you need to call on it and use it. But you don't necessarily need to use it all the time. This is gonna be for a lot of techniques. Fundamentals, for the very most, you should try to use all of them, but there's a time and place for everything. So again, try your best, don't get frustrated. And just because it's not working right away doesn't mean there's something wrong with you and it doesn't work. It really just means you just probably haven't understood one of the concepts to its entirety yet. And then once you start to like understand it, then it's kind of like unlocking a door or like pulling back the veil, and then you'll be able to see it. Any questions? Final questions?
Nah.
Complaints?
Complaint? Yeah, I know. I have such a terrible right? Talks too much.
I was quiet the whole time today. Seriously, I feel like I should get like a prize or something. It's third time talking right now. Fourth, fifth, sixth, Jesus, Junior, 7. All right.
All right, so we're pretty much at our time. If you don't have any other questions, really good work, you guys. We are going to, that's the end of side control now. So Now we're gonna head on to Mount, I believe, on Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah. Mount on Thursday. So all the goodies from there, from escapes.
Yeah, we are gonna head on to Mount.
And attacks.
Yeah, we're gonna start with reviewing how to mount.
There's a lot.
Couple ways to, there's a lot of stuff. We're gonna stay there for a little bit. Also, how to escape mount, because it's a lot. It's like we do a lot of stuff in the mount. You know, it's a position of a lot of. We're gonna spend there quite a while.
So homework. Now that we finished everything with side control, if you have a training partner, have them try to do the attacks, and then you also try to do the escapes simultaneously. So their objective is to either try to maintain side control on top or try to progress to position so that they can submit you, and your objective on bottom is to try to escape, and then vice versa. So you have the option of a training partner.
It's basically specific drilling. If you're on the bottom, you want to escape. If you're on the top, you want to maintain it or submit or advance position.
If you only have a training dummy, then if you're on bottom, a
Just
lot of repetition. A lot of repetition.
Look, for anybody that bought the dummy from Mr. Gary, that's about 120 pounds. I swear to God, it feels heavier.
It's my size.
It is heavier than me. I swear to God. I don't know if that's not 120. That's more.
So, but yeah, if you don't have a partner and you only have a drilling dummy, then lots of repetitions. Do lots of entries to the positions, and then the finishes. So like if you can get the entry, the finish is going to be very easy. So lots of entries, whatever you can drill, and then maybe do like 9 of them, and then on the 10th one actually finish the full position, right? So if it's like knee on belly, or if it's to mount, just practice the grips, posturing up and then going back down. If it's a submission, get to the point where you can step around, and then you go back to side control. So get the movement down, because that's always the hardest part. The finish is always going to be the easiest thing. It's getting to the part where you can get to that point. That's always going to be the hardest. So have fun with that. And if you guys enjoy
Sharon, yours is going to be hard. If you're gonna use Austin, you're going to have a hard time. I'm telling you that. But it'll be fun though. Eric, you can use your cat.
You're going to use the cat.
Yeah, Tremont, I have a message from Mr. Gary before we go. It's very, very important. I forgot. He's asking about the trumpet again. So.
Come on.
I was like, oh, good. What does not get bothered by the trumpet, because Harris is not here.
No, I don't have the trumpet.
All right, guys. You guys have a good night.
Hey,
see you on Thursday.
Real quick before you guys leave.
He's there.
I'm here, man. I got my chicken wings and already ate them and everything. My fingers are still sticky. Hey, we started a new high-intensity interval training session last week. So if you guys have still been like on the fence or thinking maybe it's too late, it's not too late. And I'm actually starting 2 new sessions June 1st. So if you haven't been doing any exercise, or even if you have, that would be a good thing to get on board with. And of course, we're doing the grapple fit with the dummies on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11:30 in the morning, and also Saturdays. So, do something. You don't want to be like walking out the door and heading to the gym and like having like no conditioning, right? Like get something going.
Very hard.
And I try to really make it as easy as possible. I mean, these classes, especially when you start out, aren't that hard, but they do get harder over time. So you want to kind of warm up and get in there in the beginning and build it up. Now, there's a few people on here watching this right now that have been doing it for weeks and weeks. And I think you guys know what I'm saying. So try to do something. Try to get on board. And or if you can't join us when we have class, go and watch the workouts later.
Do it.
There are a lot of people that do that. I got to tell you a real quick story, though, all right? And then we'll shut down. I got this story, a text from one of the high-intensity interval students some of you guys know her as Linda, right? You guys know Linda? Anybody know Linda? She sent me a text that said, Gary, I was out running on goat trails with some friends who I hadn't seen in a year. And I was killing it. And my friends asked me, I don't want to say her name. Well, I already said her name, didn't I? Linda, how are you doing it? How can you kill these goat trails like this? And she's like, I've been taking Gary's class. You got to check it out. So, you know what? If you want to like kill the goat trails or kill it on the mats or, you know, kill it doing whatever you're doing, check it out. All right. So thanks, guys. Anybody have anything that you want to say, Eric, Dr. Eric?
Oh, no, it's great seeing everyone, and it's great that people are still
I like how I see the setting
participating.
from everybody is so different. You know, somebody's in the living room.
You know, I was thinking that at the end with Marcelo and Bernardo, I'm wondering if did the buzzer really go off? Do you think Marcelo was a little sympathetic? Because he was a heartbeat from an armbar or a triangle or even like a monoplata, or he was this close to finishing, and I think out of respect, he might have decided not to. Did anybody catch that?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think he had him. He had him, and he let him go.
Yeah, I think so too.
He just stuck to him like a wet rash guard.
Yeah. Come on.
Eric,
I'll take a flute, a harmonica, even like a little drumming on the table. Come on.
Can he live? Can he live?
he's like, oh my God.
Just trying to watch my head.
Tremont, first day back from the quarantine, I'll buy you a trumpet. I'll buy you a trumpet. I'm serious. You know?
No.
I'll buy you a trumpet.
Hey, look at them arms too, man. Show us them arms, Tremont. Them arms are looking nice.
Really? Oh,
Look at that, guys. Look at that. Man, that's a quarantine arm. It's looking nice.
He's just opening up the kids running back. It's crazy. Yeah. All right, guys. Always very, very a lot of fun to be with you guys. See you guys Thursday.
Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you.
Good day.
All right, guys.
Yeah.